So this is going to be a vlog talking about my experiences with cutting texting out of my life for 2 days, and before that having to log my usage of texting for 2 days and see how they compare and see how I feel. So for me, I was able to make the change because first of all, I was pretty determined to make the change, even though I previously expected I wouldn't be able to do it and give. I actually successfully completed the task. One of the things that did help me complete this task was having an airplane mode option on my phone, where I didn't have to turn on my phone and I can still use it, but I would cut out all of the signal coming to my phone. The reason for that is because I learned that on the first day of not being able to use my phone, I would hear all these text messages coming in and see them on my screen even though I didn't want to. And when I hear them coming in, they're from different people, and I have different text tones for different people that I commonly text. So with that, I can hear who's texting me, and I would feel bad and guilty about not texting them back because they'd be thinking, why are you ignoring me? And if I put on airplane mode, not only can I not hear and not be tempted to use it, they would kind of get the idea because their phone would say the message send failure. This assignment definitely relates to Unit 2 a lot, and it's taught me a lot of real-life applications towards the Unit 2 ideas. One of the biggest ones was technosis, because I never realized I was addicted to technology. I never felt that I would be this disoriented without my phone. Obviously, it did get better as the day grew on while I was at school because I was busy, I had other things to do, but I never realized how much I took texting for granted. I never realized that I text because I'm bored a lot of the time. And a lot of times at school, you have so much downtime and you sit there and you're like, oh, I'm kind of missing something. It's almost like smokers with an oral fixation. I kind of sit there and I'm like, I need something in my hand to be doing something. It's just the physical act of texting that has actually become addicting to me. And that's actually pretty bad. And I found out because I went out one of the nights that I couldn't text. It was so hard because my mom was texting me. She kind of knew about the assignment, and then she called me and such. But it was so hard to talk to people because I had to call them, and a lot of times they wouldn't pick up and they would just text me like, why are you texting me? Why are you trying to call me? And it was really annoying because I realized that I got so lazy to a point where I would refuse to call someone and I would text them instead because I was too lazy to wait for the phone to dial and you would hear the tone, and I never really realized that before, which is a really big surprise to me. I also realized how my friends don't like to be called as well. I remember having a conversation with one of my friends, and she said, it's awkward to call someone. I always text and ask if I can call if it's going to be a really long conversation. Otherwise, I always just text them. It's awkward to hear someone's voice. And I couldn't believe it because I remember when I was 13 years old, or 14 even, I didn't text anyone. It wasn't a common thing to do. And I never felt awkward about calling people. When I need someone, I call them. I don't text them, where are you? Or what time are you going to be home? Like, my mom texts me now, which relates to the informative family, because I realized, aside from just watching TV together with my family or watching a YouTube video together that's really funny, my mom texts to communicate with me. She doesn't even call me anymore. She just texts, what time are you going to be home? Should I leave a place for you for dinner? And I just say yes or no. She even texts me when I'm in the other room, which may be a little strange, but to my family, it's convenient and it's normal. Another thing is McLuhan's 4 laws, and number one, which is it enhances or accelerates certain inventions, and number 4, when something is pushed to extreme, it reverses and flips into something new. I feel like smartphones or iPhones nowadays have definitely been pushed from cell phone into mini computer that you carry around with you. It practically does everything, and it's portable, which is amazing. The camera on my phone is 5 megapixels, and it is a better quality than my old digital camera, which is mind-blowing to me. And the fact that you can do email, you can do all of your work on your phone. I know someone, personally, one of my friends, and he has a BlackBerry, and he had an essay due, like a 1-page essay due in English that day that I didn't finish, and he finished all of it in first period on his BlackBerry, the entire essay. I don't know how well he did on it, but it's amazing that you can type an entire essay on your phone, because he didn't have a laptop with him, and he didn't need one, obviously. And that kind of technology, we become so dependent on it because everything is so readily available to us. And I never really consciously knew this before this assignment. Something that I felt has really impacted me is the shock of how much I use my phone out of boredom. And I know now because I sit there during my spare, because the YRT is down at the moment, I kind of sit there for 75 minutes with nothing to do. And I don't text as much, surprisingly. I don't sit there and I say, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna text random people. I kind of think, do I really want to talk to this person? Or am I just texting them out of boredom? And if the answer is number 2, then I usually don't text them. I kind of find something else to do, even if it does involve my phone, like playing a game or listening to music. I feel like I'm not going to start a conversation with someone I'm not going to finish. Technology does impact my life a lot because it affects the way I communicate with people. It changes the way my friends and I express certain emotions to each other. Like if I'm being sarcastic, it may not go through. If I'm being angry, it doesn't really go through. Back then, it was like, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like the whole talk to the hand, I'm gonna ignore you and give you the silent treatment. Now it's like, oh, I'm gonna ignore your text messages. With things like iMessage or BBM, you could see that they read your message and they're ignoring you. And it's like a new way of expressing anger to people by ignoring their text messages. Or emoticons, which help slightly. Technology impacts every form of my life, whether it be my family life and my social life and my spare time and my schoolwork. So I think it's amazing because I think I speak on behalf of the entire population that uses technology a lot, that even though we are able to progress constantly with technology and let it get better, we can never regress. And that's coming from my own experience of not being able to use my phone for 2 days for texting. I didn't even remember. I was like, oh, how am I going to communicate with this person? It never even hit me that I can pick up the phone and call them. It just kind of thought, oh, I can't talk to this person for 2 days. So I feel like I can never regress to a point where I would have technology slowly taken away from me. I feel like I'd be extremely lost and disoriented, and it just wouldn't work out very well. For me, my first and second analysis compared because for day 1, I realized I'll text people a lot out of boredom, and I have a lot of texting. But for day 1 of not using my technology, I didn't realize I had nearly as many urges. I felt like it was just during the morning time, and when I got to school, I kind of put my phone in airplane mode, put it away, and I forgot about it for the rest of the day, which is surprising. I never actually had a time where I had to pull it out and say I need to text someone. I just kind of let it go, which is something that I think I'm proud of. And if you look at my list of people that times I had urges to text people, it was very, very small, but in comparison to how many times I actually ended up texting people when I was allowed to. My success was the fact that I was able to complete this assignment, which is really surprising to me. I think a failure would be the fact that I still text people a lot, and it really hasn't changed my life that much. But it definitely does make me more consciously aware of how much I take my technology, such as texting, for granted.